Yo, it is another edition, an emergency edition of the High Hopes Podcast. Jack Fritz, James Seltzer with you. Coming up later, we'll have a special guest coming up who I guess I always do this, Jack, where I do the radio thing where I'm like, special guest coming up, find out who it is, but it's definitely going to be in the title of the pod, right?
Totally, yeah.
So Preston Mattingly is going to join us later. We're really excited. It's awesome. We actually were already scheduled to talk to him, and then the Nola news broke. So coming up in a bit, we'll get to Preston Mattingly. We could not ask him about the Nola stuff, just so you guys know going in, because obviously not everything is fully official organization-wise and stuff, but we talked to him about a ton of stuff. But Fritzy, we were expecting just record with Mattingly today, then, maybe record the rest of the pod the middle of the week, put it all together, and then out of nowhere, in like the span of 30 minutes, Nightingale comes out. He's like, oh, hey, guys, Nola and the Phillies making progress. And then it's like, bang, 30 minutes later, 7 years, $172 million. Nola's back, Jack. I'm shocked, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. I'm welcome home, Aaron. I'm very happy to have you back here. We'll get into the money and the whole thing. And obviously, the end of the contract might be ugly, but I'm really happy Aaron will be back. But more than anything, Jack, I just didn't expect us to be doing this pod today. I'm shocked. How you doing?
Me too. And I'm definitely happy. Like the Phillies kept a really good pitcher, and in classic Phillies fashion, they went more years for less AAV. So Nola gets the, the length of the contract's fine, and he can be, he's going to be a Philly for life, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he's gonna have so many franchise records when it's all said and done.
Yeah, he really is. You're right. That's a great point.
So yeah, he's back. And if I'm just viewing this, what I think happened is obviously Nola went out, tested the market, probably wasn't getting $200 million. Could he maybe have gotten $190 from a team if he really was pushing for it? Yeah.
Well, for what it is, apparently he turned down more money. John Heyman reported it, and Alex Coffey confirmed it, that apparently Nola did turn down more money from at least one other team or potentially other teams. So
he's the 2020s Cliff Lee.
He's Trey Turner. I mean, that's all people do.
That's all we do. All we do is people love to be here. So they kept a good pitcher. He's been durable. Obviously, that's the big selling point on Aaron Nola is that he pitches all the time. And like I think last year was more of just a down year than a massive sign for concern. Because obviously, when you sign a pitcher for 7 years, it's like, okay, is his velo going down? Is his stuff going down? I haven't really seen that. He's kind of just been Aaron Nola. He does have these up and down kind of years. And I just think that the adjustments they made in the postseason were real. And that was the one thing when it was talking about he's going to walk is that I didn't want another team to benefit off of the adjustments that he made in the postseason, because it's like, that stinks, because I think they're getting a steal from that standpoint. So I'm happy he's back. I'm glad it's not Blake Snell. I'm not going to lie, I do still wish it was Yamamoto.
Me too.
But apparently that's not totally off the table. Some reports out there that they'd still be interested in him. Which
okay.
I would be very, very surprised.
If they're not giving Nola this contract, Yamamoto a similar looking contract, and then re-signing Wheeler to something, I mean, let's be
not
real.
happening. Probably not happening, but I'm just saying what is out there. I still would have preferred Yamamoto just because of the age, and I think the stuff plays, and I think he's similar to Aaron Nola.
Yeah, and again, the age. He's 6 years younger. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a massive 6 years.
It's a big one. So, but overall, like, the Phillies didn't get worse today, and they no longer have to worry about, okay, Nola walks, who are we signed to replace him? Also, listen, I would have loved Corbin Burns or Dylan Cease, but now
You're
it's
giving
like
up prospects and all that stuff to do it too.
And especially after talking to our guy Preston Mattingly.
Oh, buddy.
Not like I was prepared.
I'm way more excited about Mick Abel. Like, that Mick Abel answer got me like pretty stoked.
Well, that answer and the Aiden Miller answer for me.
And the Aiden Miller answer obviously was, come on.
Well, it's because I was prepared to say, okay, he's going to be in the Cease trade. No. No. He's untouchable. Officially labeling him as untouchable. So
Well,
they didn't
yeah,
have to give
Preston didn't say that. You're saying that. Just
He
so
did not say that. No, that is not an official quote from Preston Mattingly. My interpretation from his answer was
yes. Let's not do our guy dirty yet. There, right?
Yeah, no, never. So they don't have to give up prospects. They brought back a good pitcher. Is it a lot of years? Yeah, it's a lot of years. But they keep the AAV down, so hopefully they can go add more pieces to this team, and we'll deal with the 2028 Phillies and the 2029 Phillies when we get there. But the good part is, and we talked about this a lot on this podcast, and obviously we just had Preston on, we've had Brian Barber on. I think they're just getting started with this whole player development thing. So like, even though they're here for a long time, I don't think this is going to take them out of also developing players at the same time to where they can just have a nice mixture of the two.
Yeah, and have players to trade for guys if they need to supplement or this or that or whatever. I'm totally with you. And I think, the key, like you said, and if you go back, just a few days actually to our perfect offseason pod, one of our main tenets, themes, beliefs, whatever, is that we're in the window right now. Like, go win. Do everything you can to win a World Series over the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like, that is the prime imperative of this franchise. And signing Aaron Nola today helps to that. Like, flat out, it gives you a better chance to do that. And then this window is still going to be a part of before the Nola contract, before we have to start really worrying about it going south, we believe. And I think with Nola, the key to it is, look, when you sign these big type of deals, like, look, obviously, and it was a smaller deal, but the Wheeler one, you're hoping for that, right? You're hoping for someone who you sign who has some upside but hasn't reached that level yet, and you give them $100 million or $120 million, and they way vastly outperform that, right? That's the goal. But I think outside of just getting like a steal, I think you just want someone who's going to show up and earn their money. More than anything, you just want it not to be a disaster contract, a Strasburg contract, that Hector Rodon this year is for Carlos Rodon. His first year this year. Like, all you want is
Hector
to not
Rodon.
feel. I know.
I went.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't know why I had Hector Rodon on my head. So anyway, you just want it. If nothing else, you want your money's worth, obviously, but more than anything, you want him to show up and be there and pitch and make an impact. And, there's no better guy to spend the money on for that. And we've talked a lot over the years about Nola and how I think one thing for him is his stuff should age well. The type of pitcher he is should age well. He's never been a max effort, max velocity stuff guy in that way. He's a pitcher. He's a craftsman. He's a technician, all that type of stuff. And as long as he's locating, as long as he's adjusting speeds, as long as he's, his mechanics are right, he should be able to remain effective, into his mid to late 30s. And I think that's why, again, look, 7 years for Aaron Nola right now that's a lot. Like, I get it. It is. And I can't say at age 37, 38, whatever, I'm sure he's going to be good. But I do think that for the next few years and the heart of the important part of this window that we're in right now, I think it's a really smart move. And you're getting him at a little under 25 a year, 24.9 or whatever it is. I mean, that's a good price annually for the next 4 years of this window for Aaron Nola.
Well, and I think it's what one of my big concerns heading into this offseason, when we started seeing the reports of, okay, maybe they'll trade Castellanos, Rhys Hoskins probably not coming back, Nola probably not coming back, is that there was a lot of clubhouse equity that was going to be leaving. And I think it's important to keep Phillies. Now, you don't want to make the mistake they made in, obviously, 13, 14, 15 of holding on to guys too long. But this is also a pitcher that's in the middle of his prime, and is the end going to be probably really shaky? Yeah. And do I have concerns about, my biggest concern with Nola is that he's just pitched a ton of innings.
Yeah, that's by far the biggest concern.
Now we've seen, Scherzer threw a ton of innings, and these guys have thrown tons of innings that have also, pitched relatively well deep into their careers. So maybe he just kind of has that arm, and I think Zach Wheeler kind of has that arm as well. So that's a concern, but at the same time, worst case scenario for year 4, 5, 6 of this deal is that he's going to be like a 4 or 5 starter that at least is going to take the ball every day. Not sure how effective he's going to be, but whatever. I mean, you do
Innings
need...
are valuable. Like,
Yes.
I know people don't always want to hear it, but innings are valuable. Like, they are. And sometimes 6 innings and 3 runs is like really valuable. And not sometimes, all times throughout a regular season. Like, it's when you get to the playoffs, you need to win big games, you need great outings where you need those guys to show up. But like, if you have a dude who's going to give you a 6 and 3, which isn't a great ERA, isn't anything special, but I'll give you 6 and 3 every time out, that dude's super valuable. And Nola obviously can be better than that. And maybe as it gets to the end, he'll be more that. But like that, it's not exciting. It's not sexy, but like that's valuable.
I do think whenever these contracts come out, people get so worried about the back end of it. And it rarely ever really matters, but it's these next 4 years are just imperative to bring a title here. Like it's absolutely go time. Like it's 100% go time for this organization to say, we got to win a title in the next 4 years. I mean, that's what this whole thing is gearing up towards. That's the only thing that is at the top of mind of not only Middleton, but obviously Bryce. And
as it should be. All of them, the whole crew, they're all right there. They're all the window. It's a bunch of late 20s, early 30s guys. Like, this is it. This is their window. This is their time to win. This is the time for them to capitalize while they're still in the prime or the back prime of their career. Like, absolutely.
And what the Phillies did today was ensure that they didn't take a step back. And I think that they have a chance at getting a guy who... Would I be shocked if Noel's an all-star next year? No,
I think he'll be better this year than he was last year. I mean, this past season, I think he'll bounce back next year. I think, he wasn't great for a majority of the season. He made the change. He stepped up at the end. I think he had a nice moment here in this city where his entire tenure, we've talked about it so much. I mean, there were times, like we said, a month ago where people didn't even want him back, and then things changed. But he's had up and down times here, and it hasn't always been super apparent that this fan base loves him and has love for him. And I think he felt that. I think there's again, it's something that we've talked about a lot, that Dombrowski's talked about a lot. And I believe in, I think you do too, that, not everyone can play in a city like this. There are players who just aren't built for this type of intensity or this type of expectation or this type of pressure or whatever. And, even though he's had ups and downs, we know that Aaron Nola can succeed in the biggest of moments in this city and can last in this city and can go through adversity and bounce back in this city. And that in and of itself is valuable.
Yeah, and I think that they're all still kind of figuring that out. I know it's a year or two of finally making the playoffs, but, I think that they're going to make even more adjustments kind of as they go along here. And I think that the more and more these guys are in these kind of moments, you're going to see hopefully them kind of figure it out and eventually, dude, I can't. This
I see it. It just came out.
I'm in the sun.
For those just listening to the pod and not watching, all of a sudden it's just like beams of light just came onto Jack's face, and it's like right in his eyes, right in your face. It looks horrifying.
It does look horrible.
Yeah, it's really tough. Yeah.
It's. I mean,
you're such a gamer, though. You're such a gamer, though.
The light shining through is obviously a good sign about the Nola
extension. Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, the light shining through. Is there a better example or sign that this was the right thing to do?
It's just so funny that he's the first free agent that is signed.
I know. The first big money one, the first big. You're right. Yeah.
Like he just had no interest in screwing around.
No,
he's like, I want to be a Philly.
My whole career, It's so funny. It's one of the first things you said to me when we hopped on the Zoom before the video here before we talked to press and stuff. You're like, Aaron Nola's going to be a Philly his whole career. It's like, wow, yeah, you're right. Like, and that doesn't happen that often with guys of a certain level of player who just spend their whole career somewhere and have success. And like you said, he'll be top of the board in a lot of key Philly pitching categories. So it's yeah, it's wild just to think that Aaron Nola's here and he will be a lifetime Philly, a lifetimer, like a lifer. It's wild.
And I don't have this confirmed through sources or anything, but here's how I believe it went down: is that the Braves called. He thought about, do I want to be a Brave and turn my back on the city of Philadelphia? And Aaron Nola said, "No, Alex Anthopoulos. I am not turning my back on the city of brotherly love and coming down and joining the Atlanta Braves.
I love
And
that.
maybe even strung him along a little bit. I'd say, okay,
Oh, I like that. Maybe, yeah, I like that. Made him
because
think he
there
was
would
gonna
have been
get him.
nothing. There would have been nothing worse than one of those stupid freaking press releases that come out of nowhere
Oh, I
with the
know. The
with the
Braves.
Braves,
Oh,
and
God.
then it's like, oh, we got Aaron Bummer just to who was 100% traded for just to get Schwarber and Harper out.
Uh-huh.
So it would have been nothing worse than Aaron Nola. So in a perfect world, I think he drugged them along a little bit and took them out of maybe signing or trading for a guy. But either way, I am happy he's not a Brave. That really would have left a complicated legacy for Aaron Nola, just like when Worth went to Washington.
Yeah. And it just would have been a sour taste in our mouths, especially this moment of Phillies Braves. It's one thing, that's the thing. Worth went to the Nationals and they weren't good at that time. And then they got good and he won a World Series there and blah, 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 all that stuff. But for Nola to go to right now, what did we talk about this whole season into the playoffs? The Phillies Braves thing is back and it is white freaking hot. We hate them. There's real sports hate going and a real thing, a rivalry, them winning the regular season, us winning the playoffs last couple of years. There's animosity and hatred and dislike. For him to go in this moment to jump there, that would have been, I feel an extra, kick in the junk, as it were,
Totally. And he didn't. I'm shocked that I'm shocked he's not a Cardinal.
I literally said on the radio yesterday, the camera came to me. He's like, what's going on with Nola? Who do you think you like this Japanese guy? And I was like, yeah, Nola's gone. It's he's not going to be here. I thought he was gone. So yeah.
Well, what are the Cardinals doing? I mean,
rebuilding?
They should be rebuilding. I mean, you needed a starter like Aaron Nola. I mean, he would have been perfect there. More of a smaller market. He would have been durable. Would have gave him quality innings. I just can't believe that they couldn't beat that offer, or maybe they did. And he said no. And I think him turning down money and to stay here, I think it buys Aaron Nola obviously
Grace, yeah.
a little bit of a leash here, where it's you wanted to be here, and I think that means something. And back-to-back years of him, Turner, saying I want to be affiliate, that bodes so well for the future of this franchise. And I do think that a lot of that has to obviously do with the fans. I mean, the fans and how we showed out in the ballpark the last couple of years, and the ovation stuff. I hope this does lead to more free agents obviously coming on down, but getting Nola back in the fold for that contract, the years, whatever, but for that deal, I mean, it does lend itself to going and getting another guy. So the Nola thing is big, but if I would rather have Nola at 24 or even 7 years, whatever, or Snell at 5 but a higher AAV, I am a lower AAV guy, so whatever the tax, whatever, but it does matter when it comes to going and getting players.
100% it does. Yeah, 100% it does. It's a great point. It does get more punitive the more you go up those levels. And John Middleton has shown he's super willing to spend. We're super lucky. But Steve, he's not Steve Cohen. No one else in baseball is Steve Cohen. The dude has 5 times the amount of money of everyone else. You really do have to be smart about it. You can't just spend and expect to, at a certain point, you have to say, all right, we got to stay under this number. So, all right. I want to talk about what's next in a sec. First, so if you're watching the live YouTube of this, don't go anywhere. It might seem a little weird because you're not going to hear Preston Mattingly right now, but everyone else listening to the podcast will hear Preston Mattingly because we recorded it before, and you watching YouTube can listen on the pod to hear it as well. So I want to get to what's next before we get out of here. But let's get to our guy. I mean, what a thrill for us. We've been waiting. We said his name before he was even here. We wanted them to hire him. We had Brian Barber on. Now we get our other guy. Preston Mattingly actually joins us on the show, Jack. This is exciting stuff. All right. We'll be back in a sec if you're watching the YouTube in about 25 minutes if you're listening on the pod. Actually, we'll be there for that too. But all right, we'll get to what's next coming up in a minute. First, our interview just a little bit ago with the great Preston Mattingly. And we're back.
Don't go anywhere.
That was awesome. I thought that was felt like a really quick interview to me. Flew by. No, we are so grateful, and we are definitely going to have I think him and Brian on in the future, do a little four-way talk, which I think will be pretty awesome. All right, Jack. Before we get out of here, I'm assuming you have a take bag because we just spoke the other day. Do you?
Well,
Because I was going to say what's next could be the take bag. Like, what do you expect next? Does this mean no Trout? Does this mean they're still in on Trout? Like, where do you think it goes from here?
Well, the one big thing now that is being thrown out there, and we actually haven't talked about it yet on the podcast because we're unprofessional and we don't keep up with the Phillies, is this like Bryce Harper extension thing?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's just like
is it to like spread his money out more? Is that the idea? It's like he signed through 2030 or whatever. I don't think we need to worry too much about an extension.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he just wants to be paid into his 40s. I guess he is going to want to raise because I think Middleton said that he's underpaid, and maybe Boris is like, oh, really?
What are we doing here?
I don't think we've never seen this in baseball, right?
No, they don't.
Like, there's been opt-outs. Like A-Rod opted out just to re-sign with the Yankees.
No, they don't like tear up contracts and do extensions. I mean, again, I'm sure the only reason to do it is to spread the AAV thinner. To sign more guys, I guess, but that's or
he wants a raise. I mean, it's
sure, yeah, he might, I guess, but he also wants to win. I don't know.
It's a weird one.
It's a weird one.
I guess we'll see but I don't even know if owners are going to approve of it.
Yeah, I don't know what there might not. I don't know what the CBA says about it. I agree. I don't know. It's a weird one.
There's a lot of things.
I'm sure they could do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about it. I just don't know how they could do it.
Exactly. Again, maybe he just wants to be extended into his 40s. I have no idea.
He just wants a couple years tacked on. Who knows?
Yeah, and he didn't want an opt out. So
whatever you want, Bryce. Sorry, buddy. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. What's a couple extra years in my 50s? I don't care.
Yeah, who cares? By that point, again, as a podcast that was once built on the 2026
I could be dead by them. What do I know? Come on.
Yeah.
I'm old, like Jack says.
Just stay a Philly forever.
All right. So what's next?
All right. So what's next? So the only thing that hampers the Trout thing now is that he can't wear 27. So
it's a big one.
It's a big one. But 2 is available. He liked Jeter growing up, and as
Mattingly,
as a newly formed Derek Jeter guy myself.
A lot of Jeter love on this one here.
Way too much. He did make a lot of errors, but he has like 1 million Gold Gloves for no reason. But besides that, yeah. So I'll be curious to see what they do with the rotation now, because obviously Wheeler, we'll see if they extend him this offseason, which would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you could extend a Wheeler in the middle of a contract.
Yeah, you can extend. Yeah, but I don't know.
Then you can extend Bryce. But I don't think we've never seen a pay increase while a contract is going on.
Well, especially we haven't seen it with 9 years left on the deal or 8 years left. That's the weird part. It's not like, oh, he's got a year left, let's extend him, or 2 years left even. It's like, oh, he's got 8 years left. Let's get on that extension,
Yeah. So, okay. So the Wheeler probably extended, hopefully extended this offseason. Nola back. I still think that they try to get out from under Taijuan Walker's contract, but maybe not. But if they wanted to sign a Sonny Gray, I wouldn't. I'm just worried about giving him a draft pick because that's all I care about. But
we know.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious to see what they do with is this it? Are we just running it back with the same rotation? Do they try to find another arm? Do they move off Walker to get someone else? It'll be interesting, but I think I'd be a little disappointed if this is the only starting pitching move. Like, I need at least one interesting one, like a Fetty or Severino, or just give me one. And then the next big shoe to drop is going to be if they make any lineup upgrades and try to find a big fish that way. I mean, if they wanted to get nuts, they could still do the Cease trade because he's under contract for 2 years.
Yeah, it's true.
But
I don't see that. I think it's more likely they make a move for like a closer, whether it's signing Hader or trading for one. I think that's a more likely move than another starter like that.
Yeah. But if they, I'm curious to see what they do now with the lineup, or are we just running it pretty much back with the same team, minus Rhys Hoskins, who didn't even play last year. So I would like to find a righty patient bat. We'll see if they are able to do that, but at least they got Nola back. At least there's not a downgrade to the rotation, And now that that's out of the way, that was the biggest question mark heading into the offseason. They can kind of go cook. So I'm excited to see.
So go cook.
So go cook. And listen, at least they brought back Knowles. So that huge question mark is off the table.
Love it. All right, you got anything else before we watch football?
I mean, listen, if you want to sign Yamamoto too, then you got Painter next year.
I mean, we're in on that, but let's be real.
Let's spend more money. Let's spend all the money.
Spend more money.
Spend more money. And, of course, make a dope trade. That's all I
Make a dope trade. Yeah.
Make a dope trade.
Thank you again to Preston Mattingly for joining us. That was a real thrill. It was awesome. What a stud that guy is. I mean, just so cool. So really neat. And we'll be back, I guess, next week.
Or if there's any more emergency.
Oh yeah, obviously, if stuff happens, we'll be there. Obviously, but otherwise, we'll be back next week. And how about it, man? Aaron Nola.
Knowles is back.
Knowles is back. Yeah, thank you, Phillies, for not making us wait till like late tonight to record this. Like from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. All right,
and a 2035 Wall of Fame induction.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
And the big question
2035, Bryce will be 44 and playing first base still.
By the way, 2035. I mean, again, Nola made his debut in 2015.
It's crazy.
And he's probably gonna retire.
It's nuts.
It's just it. A lifetime Philly, Aaron Nola.
How about it? What a thrill. What a thrill. All right. We'll be back when they make a move or later this week. Again, thank you to Preston Mattingly. Thank you to Aaron Nola. We love you, buddy. We'll keep talking about you. And that's all I got. Here's Fritz and Seltzer.